About to put some power on this for the very first time. I'm only going to do a test of this display here and all the segments. Anything could happen. I've done a visual the best as I can. I'll put some power leads on here. I'll measure the resistance on here, which I can't really read anything, which is good. If I touch those together, so that's definitely reading ohms. Here's our power supply. The resistors I have in series with the each of these LED segments is 680 ohms. I calculated that based on 15 volts. This power supply only goes to 12, but anyway, we're going to start at a low voltage. I think we'll take this up to, I'm confident that we can go to 9 since I'm not reading any silly resistance. Let's just quickly measure that. Yeah, we've got 8.7 volts there, so we'll start with that. Let's connect up the power leads here. I'll just switch that power supply off whilst I do this. Okay, that's our negative on. Connect up our positive. Oh, come on. Okay, I've got that connected. Alright, let's just throw the switch and see what happens. I've got 2 of those LEDs on. Let me just quickly investigate that, why those 2 are on there, that one and that one. Okay, I've found out why that one's going. I need to cut that track there. It should fix that one. It should not be on that LED. Okay, let's try that. Well, that's good. Now we got this one on here. Let's see what are they causing that. Okay, I see the problem there. I've got the transistor incorrectly. Let me just address that. I fixed the issue here, why this LED was going, this one in here. I had the base and collector switched around, so I'll swap those. So that's in correctly now. And let's throw some power on. We should not have any LEDs on now. Power LED is on there, so that's good. Now that I can see that, I think I'd like to put a power LED on here. So we're going to have 2 separate power supplies. The display, I think we're going to set that to about 15 volts, and the logic probably about 12 volts, I think. Now the next thing here is I'm going to run this wire along here. Let me just quickly put some solder on here and just switch that off while I solder it. Just to stop this bit of wire at the end here fraying. Okay. Throw the power back on again. Okay, now according to my diagram here, if you see these orange wires here, they're hooked up to the 7 segment displays. Each of these segments are labelled A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we've got a decimal point. I won't be using a decimal point. So these wires are running down to this to these resistors, which go into this side of this chip here. The chip is not inserted, of course. So at the end of the day, if I pull these lines low down to 0 volts, we should light up one of the segments here. And all going to plan. It should be segment A, B, C, D, E, F, G, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, and then G is the center one there. So let's do that. We'll start at this end. Cool. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Perfect. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's perfect. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That one's okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Great. So that's cool. I haven't got the circuitry hooked up for this display yet, but we'll test that later. That's basically, I need to replicate this area here down there. At that point we'll check this one here. But what I think I'll do now is I'll test these LEDs. You see these little individual LEDs here? Again, that will be a binary representation of the decimal number here. But to test that, I need to drive these transistors. Now that one that was hooked up backwards, well, it wasn't backwards, we had the base and collector swapped around. So let's hope that hasn't done any damage. So I should be able to test that, but what I need to do to test that is I need to get a voltage feed into these resistors here, which will switch the transistor and turn on the LED. So let me just get a piece of wire. I'm going to need to go for red, so it's going to put positive on there. Am I going to put this? Put it down here. Yep, that'll be fine. Let's flip that over, solder that. Cool. Yeah, we should be able to do that, okay. Let me just check the camera and make sure everything's still in view there. Yeah, we're still okay there. Strip a piece off there. Just put a bit of solder on the end. Now this time I'm going to run this wire down each of these resistors along there. We should be able to light up these LEDs here. The yellow wires, you see those there, they're running to the top display, so the first four should be the LEDs at the top, the next set should be the LEDs at the bottom, and then again the top, bottom, so on. So let's throw the power on. Okay, let's put some power on the base here of this transistor through this 10K. Cool. That's on, that's on, that's on. And that's switching. So that's, each of those are switching, which is fantastic. And then the next 4, which must be down here. I'll zip tie these cables later so they're not in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all good. The next set. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's fine. The next set. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me just do this one again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all good. Got a problem with that one there. Just get a marker and mark that. That one's not working. It's okay. That one's okay. That one's switching alright. It's okay. It's okay. That was okay. And that one's okay. That one's okay. Okay. All but one is not working as it should. We'll sort that out. Throw the power off. Let's see what's wrong there. Got something wrong. I see the problem. I think I see the problem. It's just wiggling around. Why is that wiggling around? Let's get some more solder on there, I think. Yeah, it's broken. There's a copper track there that's broken, so that'll be an easy fix. That should fix that. Right, power on. And it's this one here where I put the dot. Bingo. There she goes. Cool. So I've got all my wiring to the displays working.